good morning, and welcome back to Good Morning Tobago right here on Tobago Updates. I am your host, Shenell Felix. This morning, we are chatting all about young women in leadership and women empowerment. I have the opportunity this morning to sit with two lovely young Tobago women who have represented us at that Young Women Empowerment Leadership Debate program that took place within the Parliament over the last few months. Good morning, ladies, and welcome. So, sitting next to me this morning, I have Tiannah Winchester, who was the Shadow Minister for Trade, Tourism, and Culture, and she also represented Tobago East. And then a bit further away from me this morning, I have Miss Adana Romeo, who was the Shadow Minister for Foreign and CARICOM Affairs and MP for Tobago West. Good morning, ladies, and welcome.
Good morning. Thank you.
So I should say good morning to our MPs for Tobago East and Tobago West. So you guys participated in this program, and I'm guessing that it was a really enriching experience. Tell us a bit about that parliamentary training experience that took place from the women parliamentarians of Trinidad and Tobago.
Okay, so basically, it's an initiative hosted and run by the women parliamentarians of Trinidad and Tobago, and the role is to empower young women to take up more roles in parliament. It was a wonderful experience. We had a training, so different topics were spoken about, like parliamentary roles in that, also AI. So a lot of things geared towards that.
Right. Adana, tell us about what the theme was for the debate this year.
So the debate was on the issue of human trafficking. And human trafficking involves many acts. It's the recruitment, transportation, transfer, harboring, or receipt of persons. It can also be done by various means, so through the use or threat of force, coercion, fraud, as well as others, for the purpose of exploitation, which can be sexual, labor, as well as the removal of organs.
Adana, tell us about the age group that you saw while participating in this program. I'm thinking that, you had a wide range of young women, spanning from persons who had recently graduated from high school, go all the way up. Tell us about that.
Yes, so the age range for the program is 18 to 29 years. So those were the people eligible to apply.
Excellent. Tiannah, tell us a bit about your personal experience, and do you feel like participating in debates of this nature accelerates your knowledge on a particular topic?
Well, I've started having a passion for debating and advocacy in 2023 because I was one of the representatives for Signal Hill Secondary in the Tobago Day debate hosted by the Assembly Legislature. So this was a very enriching experience, and yeah, I love it, and I think it's a really great way to learn about topics such as human trafficking. That's very important, and I think more youths need to be aware of it and the implications.
Right. And, from both of you ladies, tell us about what side of the debate you sat on. Did you sit on the for or against side, and what were some key policy recommendations that came forth that you personally believe should be taken into deeper consideration from, the sitting administration at the central government level?
Okay, so while being the MPs for Tobago East and West, we were opposition, and the motion was brought by the opposition, so we were in favor of the motion, which is that for the next 6 months, the government should take urgent steps to combat human trafficking in Trinidad and Tobago. That's broadly speaking. As it pertains to initiatives, well, I had to speak from the Foreign and CARICOM Affairs perspective. And, in my research, I came across the Regional Trafficking in Persons Committee Forum report from last year. And one of the recommendations from the UNODC was that CARICOM have a more coordinated response to the issue, given that Trinidad and Tobago is often used as a transshipment point. So one of my suggestions were that in addition to formal collaborations, because there are through CARICOM Impacts, which is the security arm of CARICOM, as well as with international partners, that Trinidad and Tobago should adopt the best practices that were highlighted in the report present in other countries. That way we could lead by, action, as in if we start adopting it, then it would become more uniform across other CARICOM members.
All right, Tiannah, what about you? Well, obviously you were also for the motion, but what were some of the key policy initiatives that you think should be taken into consideration?
Well, in my presentation, I had highlighted that we need to take a more collaborative role in pertains to tourism, the tourism sector, and the people working in tourism. Okay, so you can have people from different countries coming in and you're not aware of them being trafficked because they are not equipped with the resources or the knowledge to identify someone who is being human trafficking. So one of the points I had made is that they need to be knowledgeable on that, so that if something was to happen like that, they would be able to identify it and do the proper protocols to handle it.
Excellent. And even as it pertains to these type of debates, you said that you had your foundation with the Assembly Legislature. Tell us about how important those type of debates are as a foundation to help you build the skills and equip you with what it really takes to even step out and go and debate on the parliamentary level.
Okay, well, personally, before this, I was not as open or interested in this, but I think it helps to empower young people and you gain confidence from it. So that's what I really believe, as well as with the Tobago Day debates, we had the opportunity to also venture into the UK and visit other places and gain other experiences. And that just really builds on your confidence, as I stated before. And if you already have a passion for it, it just increases it more. Or if not, it's just for confidence and new experiences.
Excellent. Adana, what about you? What would have led you to the point of even applying for the YES Leadership Program? And is this your first goal with this type of debating?
Well, yes, I never did youth parliamentary debates while at high school, but I am an attorney at law by profession. So it was another form of advocacy for me that I felt I needed to explore. I would love to be involved in community work, just empowering young women to take up leadership roles, because we are in the minority in the parliament as well. So I thought it would have been a good experience as well to be able to empower other young women to take certain career paths. Even if you're like me, I didn't necessarily do all the youth debates, but it's still a possibility. Like, you can always get the experience if it's something you are committed to doing.
Tell us about your experience with the training and what really stood out for you in that overall experience.
Well, what stood out for me was we had the opportunity of going to a diplomatic reception, which was hosted in conjunction with the Dutch Embassy in Trinidad, where there were other diplomats from other countries, as well as the comprehensive parliamentary training also stood out, because prior to the debate, we were taken into the chamber, we were told where we were supposed to sit. They taught us about the standing orders, how we speak, how we address the speaker as well. So I think the comprehensive parliamentary training for me, as well as just how we are supposed to carry ourselves as young women, as ambassadors of the program, how to do research, that was a very important training session, how you do research for parliamentary debates as well, how to vet data sources, how to use AI responsibly, which I think is a current issue across, many industries today, to make sure that, you vet, even though AI don't just take what it gives back, so you actually read the source if it provides the source documents and things like that.
Excellent. Tiannah, what about you? I think that, it's a well-rounded training session. You have to go down, is it every weekend that you're in Trinidad?
It wasn't every single weekend. It was hybrid, so
Okay.
virtual and in person. But yes, we had to go down quite a lot on Saturdays, so that was taking up majority of our Saturdays, early morning. But I agree with Adana in the cocktail reception. That was a very wonderful event. We got to meet different ambassadors, speak with them on different areas of issues that's happening globally. And yeah, it was a really great experience.
Excellent. And, even from this and having those interactions, those connections, has it shaped where you see yourself going in the future?
Yes. So I'm interested in a career in medicine, but I still see a chance of me going into advocacy and diplomacy in the future as well. So it has shaped where I see myself in the future.
So are you now between a rock and a hard place trying to decide if you want to be Dr. Winchester or if you are going to be a diplomat?
I don't think I have to choose.
Okay.
So if in the future, because that's a long time from now, I could be both if I choose to be.
You can. There's literally no limits to what you can
Exactly.
achieve. Adana, you are already attorney at law. Has this shaped how you see your career progressing?
Yes, I think from this experience, I'm going to continue to seek other opportunities as this one where I can, just expand my depth of knowledge and just learn how to do more community-based advocacy as well. And I think I've always been interested in diplomacy, honestly. While I was at university, I did a lot of international law courses. And the cocktail really did help to show that ambassadors and, well, foreign service officers really can come from a variety of backgrounds. Because there was a British foreign service officer and her background was in law enforcement. So it's just you met a really wide depth of people, as in you can get into diplomacy, advocacy from any walk of life. I think, being an attorney is more of an analogous profession in that you are taught to speak, taught to advocate. But yes, I do see it as part of my future endeavors going forward.
Excellent, excellent. And from both of you, as we wrap up this morning, is this something that you are recommending to other young women in Tobago to participate in next year, and why?
Yes, I would recommend that other young women do apply and participate next year because apart from the, early morning flights and all these Saturdays, it was really worth it in the end. I would say that the person I was at the beginning of this program is not the person I am now. I think, we all are a sum of lived experiences, and this is definitely a positive one that I think that young women in Tobago should take advantage of.
Excellent. And what about you, Tiannah? Because you are also fresh out of sixth form.
Yes, I am.
Right, and so even as you look around at your colleagues, how do you think this can impact them?
I highly recommend this program, especially as a Tobagonian. I think more of us should definitely apply. It's, as she said, it helps enriching you with different skills. Even if you don't want to go into politics or diplomacy, you still gain confidence, you gain different skills as well, and you will not be the same person you were at the beginning. So I think I highly recommend this, and I think they should definitely sign up next year.
Excellent. Well, again, we want to thank you guys so much for, flying that Tobago flag at the parliamentary level for that yes leadership program and debate. I'm wishing you guys all the best in your future endeavors as you progress in your career. I'm guessing you're going off to university, Tiannah.
Yes.
Excellent, and congratulations to you. And even as you expand your career, Adana, I am wishing you all the best from our team here at Tobago Updates. And again, thank you for representing Tobago well. Guys, unfortunately, this is where we come to the end of this morning's discussions. I want to thank you so much for your likes, your shares, your comments, and all that you have been doing and continue to do to make Tobago Updates the #1 broadcaster here on the island of Tobago. Again, I am Shenell Felix, and have a great day.